I think that a lot of people really underestimate the curse as well. Um, I normally, like, if I see a curse, I want to shoot it in the face as soon as I see it, and uh, and get rid of it, because those nukes can be really bad for your Logi's health at least. And they
Yeah,
get a good range.
yeah, and
Sorry, go ahead.
this is a neutered version of this kind of battlecruiser comp that they're going up against. Doesn't have quite the same level of DPS, doesn't have quite the same level of control, no long range webs. I don't know if maybe bringing this version of the comp was a bad call on the part of Spooky Action, because we've seen Templis CALSF tear apart a comp very similar to this with this exact comp.
The thing is, I think, like, if they can get those battle cruisers in there relatively quickly and kill some of the lesser tanked cruisers, then they might be okay. Um, or even get in and kill the Logi really quickly. But there's just one of those things. If you can get in and overwhelm the DPS of the hostile group, or sorry, overwhelm them with DPS, so that their Logi cannot wrap. The match has started, by the way. Then you can do that just to get some of the high DPS off the field.
Here we can see those same tactics used as before, jamming off all of the tackle there, the Kitsune attempting to save everything from being tackled down as they try and wiggle their way in and find someone out of position. As they all rush for the Guardian, actually, just putting webs down on him and getting newts in play there.
The curse is also scrammed or was scrammed and is now webbed and being neutered on the Templis CALSF side. Guardian for spooky action at a distance going into armor. Now the Scimitar going into half shield. He's repping back, but he is taking a ton of damage. If that Scimitar goes down this early in the match, it's going to be a massive issue for the Templis CALSF team.
Yeah, but we've seen how strong that Scimitar's active tank is. It can last for ages, and he might even be able to pull himself away, although he is scrammed and webbed right now. So it looks like Templis CALSF are going to have to work really hard on taking out that tackle, or their Scimitar is going to be dead in the water here.
That
We don't
Scimitar
even...
is going down really quickly. I think he's already in his reload cycle. One more rep. So it's not going to be long. Like, he's taking heaps and heaps of DPS. He's not getting any breaks at all. And
Absolutely
like,
nothing's
even
been
with the
applied back.
ASB, he's not tanking. And the spooky action resistance team taking like next to no damage at all. The Guardian's still tanking quite well in shields. It's just a matter of the spooky action resistance team keeping that DPS on there. Achilles and the Guardian now taking more armor damage. I think it's a DPS race on the Logi ships.
Oh my god,
Um,
Sappho tanking like a boss here.
I don't
Just
even know how that thing is fit.
it
It's
must be some
ridiculous.
sort of crazy regen fit, but like damn, that is
Yeah.
impressive.
Now Achilles going into low armor as well. Like, is he out of cap or something? Is he like capped out by the
He's
curse?
being
But
muted by the curse.
that scimitar now going into armor. That's not a good place to be.
Oh my
Achilles
god.
and the Guardian down, and the scimitar almost down as well at exactly the same time. We're heading for another DPS rate. So looks like
Look,
damage been applied to that
damage
Kitsune,
right on the confessor. Yeah,
the
damage right on
Confessor
the
and the
confessor.
Kitsune. Yeah. So that Confessor now taking damage. He is not moving very fast, and that Kitsune caused massive problems in some earlier matches. He's down as well, so that's going to take those jams off the field, which may be a massive win for Spooky Action at a distance. Going to be able to apply a lot more DPS. Now the curse for Templis CALSF now scrammed, target painted, and that Confessor down for Spooky Action at a distance as well. This is an amazing match already.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to attempt to trade that curse off for the rest of their support, which I think is a great call there from Spooky Action. Their core is has a lot more DPS and a lot more tank than the core of Templis CALSF, obviously an Onyx, and Moa, and a Sleipnir, not really comparing to an Astarte and two Navy battle cruisers. But as I say that, damage being switched to the Harbinger Navy here.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, but like, what do you choose? And at the end of the day, if it's something which is doing the most damage or causing the most issues for you, then that's what you've got to shoot. That curse going into destruction now, and he is down. I'm going to assume that they're going to switch. I'm not sure. I would not shoot the Onyx. It does little DPS and has a massive tank, so I'd leave that till last. Speak action at distance, swapping to the Jackdaw now and shooting that, while the Navy Harbinger on their team is also getting shot. But the damage that's been applied has gone down really, really quickly. Templis CALSF doing next to no damage at all right now. That Jackdaw for their team is also down now as well, just died.
Yeah. I mean, you can see like the defense bars show that there should be a lot more active tank. There should be a lot more even equal DPS that it has the potential to be applied there from the CALSF team, but we're not seeing any of it really materialize as they focus on these support ships overtaking out the bigger, highlight reel parts of the enemy composition.
That's a Swivel of Spooky Action at Distance now going into low armor. He will probably die soon, I'm assuming, and that will actually take out all of the tackle for the Spooky Action at Distance team, and may actually make it a lot more difficult for them to tackle down Templis CALSF.
We can
it's
see
important
that
to note.
Navy Harbinger tackled by the Onyx as well. That might be why they were focusing on him, trying to almost kite this comp away.
And that Navy Harbinger is actually going down quite quickly.
Yeah, like the active tank from the shield ships showing up here really well.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that actually I was going to say that the Moa is the smallest ship brought by the Templis CALSF team, but that's not exactly true. I think it's just the lowest point. The Harbinger Navy issue now going into structure. This may be another upset from Templis CALSF. I thought that Spooky Action at a Distance had it in the bag.
I mean, it's still close here. They've just got to get through this Moa, and a lot of the DPS from their side is going to be off the field. That's obvious. I think that's almost definitely, I think that's definitely a rail Moa, but it's still got a lot of damage to bring to the field once they're down from that. I don't know if they're going to have enough to really burn through this Brutix Navy issue.
Yeah, it's not going to take them too long to get through that armor and structure now, so that Moa is going to go down. And the Templis CALSF team, it's going to be a 2v2, Astarte and Navy Brutix versus a Sleipnir and Onyx.
And it looks like they switched off the Onyx just as he was reloading his ASB as well. You can see now the bar of active defense just jumped all the way back up. Wow, that might be a mistake that costs them the match here, as they're now sitting against two very, very powerful, very active tanked ships, and they have nothing but resists and buffer and a lot of hope.
They do have the Navy Brutix does have armor wrap drones on it, so that may help a little bit, but nowhere near as much as these as the Sleipnir and the Onyx have. So this is going to be an interesting match. It's 3 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. Both teams at 44 points, with the Navy Brutix of the Spooky Action at Distance team taking damage now, as well as a Sleipnir going into low shield, wrapping up like lightly, but not all the way up. So he may be in a little bit of trouble here if they can keep the DPS on.
Yeah, it looks like that Onyx just can't. It must, maybe it's burnt out its prop or something, but it just can't move around this field. It can't get a tackle on something. I can't. I have no idea what's going on there.
That Sleipnir from the Templis CALSF team now receiving armor wraps from Spooky Action at a Distance.
Classic mistake, but there we go. We see those ASB charges being put to good use there as the Sleipnir reps itself all the way back up, whilst huge amounts of damage are being taken, whilst chunks and chunks are being taken off that Brutix Navy issue. It looks like they've got webs on it as well now. The only question is, can that Onyx get in range? I'm pretty sure at this point it either didn't have a prop mod or it burnt it out, because it is not moving, sitting there at 240.
That Spooky Action at a Distance, Astarte now closing in on the Sleipnir of the Templis CALSF team. And we're going to see what happens there. But that Navy Brutix doesn't look like it's going to last very much longer.
Yeah, but neither does that Sleipnir. It can't have many more charges left in its bank before it is going to be forced to reload. And yeah,
he's into armor now.
Into armor here.
And this is really close. The Sleipnir and the Navy Brutix both into structure now, but the Sleipnir looks like it's going to go down first right now, which means that the pressure is going to be off of that Navy Brutix. Hopefully, a couple of armor rep drones is going to be all that it needs to stay up against the Onyx, which probably only does a couple of hundred DPS at the most. That Brutix Navy issue is still taking a heap of damage. I've got to say that even if the Navy Brutix goes down, it's a very hard task for that Onyx to take out the Astarte.
But yeah, I think he's just getting in range now to start to plink away at him. Yep, you can see that little tiny chunks being taken off his structure, but it's going to come down here to a 1v1 with 1 minute left on the clock. Can that Onyx do anything of note to that Astarte?
Yeah, that Onyx needs to kill the Astarte before the end of the match, otherwise Spooky Action at a Distance will win.
Yeah, you can see it by the way that attack bar dropped off. That is an RLML an RLML Onyx, so he's got to deal with a reload cycle here, and even then after that, he's got to burn through all of the EHP of Nastarte.
I can't see that
that
happening in a minute.
No, oh, so heartbreakingly close here from Team CALSF. They've got enough
What
to
a great
easily
match
tank
to end
out.
on, though.
Oh yeah, like you couldn't get much close. You couldn't ask for much more intense
Right
than
down
this.
to the wire.
And Team Spooky looks like it's going to be able to pull it out of the bag, and
What a great fight.
showing that there is in fact a skeleton in all of us as they thoroughly spook Templis CALSF.
All right, that is Starte taking a bit of damage on his shield. Obviously, his armor tanked. The Onyx also taking damage, but I don't think anybody's going to die in the next 20 seconds. So, what a great match from both teams.
What an intense conclusion, trading ship for ship the whole way down, only
Yeah,
failing there at the last mark.
those Logi ships going down at almost exactly the same time as well.
Yeah, like you've got to give props to Saf for that incredible flying of getting, lasting for that long despite how much damage was being applied to him.
Saf has sort of, I wouldn't say carried that team, but definitely been in a pivotal point in a number of matches where Saf has just his piloting or her piloting has really helped their team a lot, especially when kiting out damage and things like that in the ASB cycle. That Scimitar has seen a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And that's the match with spooky action at a distance. The victors in the... Ooh, we got dragged. No, we didn't. My bad.
Angriest of games.
The angriest of games. Season 2, what a match. Some great teams and a great tournament. We're going to head back to the studio. We'll see you guys very soon.